Like, can it be in that spot?
Yeah.
I mean, your mic is, I know you like to be the center of attention, but like your mic is way closer.
Because, okay. I like to hold my mic. Is that a crime?
No, it's okay.
I'm a performer.
Am I playing backup right now in the band? Like, you know what I mean?
No, because with our upgraded equipment, we can have different levels.
I know you care about but you certainly like care about this because the plastic hasn't been taken off the equipment yet. It's like still, this is like too new. I love it so much.
Oh yeah, it takes time for me to settle in and trust.
Is it trust or just because you don't want anything to happen to it?
Both.
Yeah.
I think I just like to really, I don't know.
Fair enough.
Because then the fingerprints.
Should I dial down the Christmas tunes a little bit?
Maybe a little.
Okay.
So just so I don't get distracted.
I have to get up.
Oh, God.
I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, everybody.
Are you drinking enough water? I feel like that's usually the first question.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the two questions are, are you hydrated, drinking enough water, and did you get enough sleep?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is probably no to both. And I'm typically very well hydrated, but I got to sleep last night later than usual, and I woke up earlier than usual today because my dog, bless her heart, she likes to shake. It really is. It's just like a power move, man, because it is.
Dogs are so loud.
Why does she need to shake it? She hasn't been outside in the rain. She's been sleeping on the floor for 7 hours. I get up and shake as hard as possible and then walk to each side of the bed and see now who's awake. That's exactly what she does. And then we both yell at her, go back to sleep.
Aw, poor gal.
Well, it's 3:30 in the morning.
You know what? I'd be the same way. Sometimes, so my dog, Goliath, he has, we call it, like, daytime toys, or, like, his bones. Daytime bones and nighttime bones.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they're so hefty, like the...
Yeah.
And he'll throw them. So what he does is, every time someone comes into the house, if he's so excited to see you, he grabs one of his toys to show you. To be like, here's my toy. Okay. Glad you're home. But then he'll just sometimes throw it, and then it slams on the floor. So sometimes
hardwood floors.
Yep. So sometimes I'll be in my room and I'll text my mom and be like, you have to take away his daytime bone because it's nighttime and I'm trying to sleep.
Plus it's destroying the hardwoods.
And oh God, no! That our house is so old. Like,
well, all right, let's take care of what we have.
Oh no, it's not hardwood. It's like 1950s, whatever was in style. Flooring.
For sure it's hardwood back
Shout
then.
out great grandpa for your floors. But yeah.
We're sure about this. This is pretty far. And when I turn my head to look at you or talk to you, or both,
are you concerned that it's not picking up? Is that your concern?
Yeah, I feel like
that you can't move, talk?
It's the Jaden and a little bit of Bill show.
No, I promise it's not.
Okay. It's fine if that's what we're going for here today.
Do you want me to turn up your dial a little bit more?
I just want to know that.
So I'll turn it up a little bit more that way. Like
again.
You feel confident. Your dial is up at a 9.
Thank you.
Gosh. I have news.
All right, let's get into it.
It has been revealed that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce has actually been dating for months prior to their NFL debut.
Ah.
Did you know that? She
revealed
revealed it in an interview.
I did not know that. Although that doesn't surprise me. That it was pretty well, calculated and well thought out. Typical Tay-Tay.
And I even think in the interview, she said, yeah, that would have been crazy for our first date to be filmed.
Just show up, yeah.
So I think, good. Thank God I can finally sleep at night knowing. One of the topics I have today is life after a long weekend, because it's been on my mind, especially with the holidays coming up. Sometimes you have your long weekend. We had Thanksgiving. That was a hard weekend to come back to. And with Christmas coming up, how to come back after a long weekend and getting back into the swing of things.
I don't. I just go.
Really?
Yeah, I go. I don't know if you know this because it's your first year here. I go to the Caribbean for 2 months. I'm back in early March. It's real talk.
When do you leave?
I leave, just January. No, I'm sorry. Just after New Year's. So January 3rd, I think we go.
So This is so disappointing because you are usually like golden retriever energy, like get it done, positive energy. No, this is what you're going to do. Let's do it. Let's get the work done. You're piecing out after the crazy season.
So I'm not. I want to get a reaction. I want to see what your reaction would be.
Well, here's my reaction. I was going to be so upset.
And I'm pleasantly surprised. I thought you would have been like, cool, boss.
Bye.
Yeah, party time. Instead, you're like, no, I'm going to miss your energy. And so you passed. You passed the test.
Well, good, because I was going to be lost because in my head, if you don't even know how to manage and cope with that, how is someone like me that crumbles so easily over such a minor inconvenience?
No, we're building a bigger and better Jaden. You're not going to be crumbling anymore.
Sometimes I feel like
already great, by the way, but even better version.
Better version, 2024.
So, yes. Built for more in 2024.
Built for more.
That's going to be, I've been kicking around all these
that could have been your slogan for the campaign.
It could have been. Would have helped.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's going to bother me forever. Next time, if you run for president, because we only go for the big goals.
Yes.
Nothing small. Yeah. So when you run for president, that'll be your slogan.
Okay.
Copywriting by Jaden Dumont. So nobody take that if your name is Bill. Wouldn't that be crazy?
If I was president?
Yeah.
Of like the United States? Or just like a pest control association?
Think big. USA.
I do not want that responsibility.
I know. Thinking about it, it would be pretty bad. I actually don't like politics.
Yeah, I'm good.
So.
But yeah, you're going to be great in 2024. I'm going to be here with all kinds of renewed energy. I actually come back recharged and better than ever. Usually
Good for you.
Hit the ground running. You're going to feel that same emotion.
We'll see.
Because we're excited. We got a big year ahead of us.
I know.
You especially so.
I know.
Have we discussed what we're discussing?
No. And I like that.
Oh, Thirsty Thursday.
Thirsty Thursday. Everyone's getting thirsty for the holidays. We have our office brunch tomorrow. Are you so excited?
I am excited. Not so excited. I just, no, it's going to be great. Honestly, I'm just kind of taking it one day at a time, 1 hour at a time. Mm-hmm. This week, it's been a lot.
This week has been crazy.
I mean, I was out last night till like 9 o'clock because of the Pest Control Association stuff and Pest Management Association.
Yeah, the election.
Yeah, which I fell short.
Justice for Bill.
That's fine. No, the correct people won.
Everything happens for a reason.
It's really funny. I guess I'll talk about this briefly. Is that I was asked to put my name in the hat, which I probably wouldn't have done. Not probably. I would not have done. Let me just be honest. Mm-hmm. But I didn't think they had enough people, and I'd been in the National Association. I had been active, but I have not been active as I should have been the last couple of years for a lot of reasons. Just mostly business and kids and that kind of stuff. I saw him, and then when I was reached out to, I saw maybe I should really. This is a good catalyst to get more involved. And then I think for the first time ever, because I think the concern was they wouldn't have enough people for the board seats, and then for the first time ever, they had too many people for too few board seats, and I was like, well,
yikes.
I would have done this if this was the if we're and so the two people that were voted in were people that have been very active in committees and things, and very much deserving so of the positions, and I congratulate them both on LinkedIn and in person. One of them I was able to speak to, the other one I wasn't, but so it was great. But and I think everyone said, hey, please stay involved because these seats are going to open up again, and so now I just got to make sure I stay involved. So, and I'm the association does great things in our industry, and they go to bat for us, all the things that people don't think of. So very appreciative for everything. But it is, I was definitely one of the further attendees last night. My hour and a half drive back. So,
that just means there's room for growth in your future journey.
Yeah. I am not short on things to do. So it's not.
Oh, I know. Trust me. I truly don't know how your brain does it because
I had a meeting with the USDA this morning at 9 a.m. on virtual and like a foundation. And I'm like, this day. So anyway, the kind of come full circle. I'm just taking it one day at a time this week, and then even now we have this, and I have a meeting after this, and then another meeting, and try to squeeze the gym in this evening, see some family, and wake up and then go to the brunch.
Yeah.
And then this weekend, usually weekends I can kind of like unwind, but Trish has something planned for us on Saturday night.
Oh.
And then we have Christmas Carol on Sunday. Mm-hmm. I'm just like,
so many fun things.
I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
I think it might be part of the reason I have a headache, honestly.
Yeah.
I do feel a little mentally fatigued, but we grind on. I am not one to shy away from a challenge.
I know. I truly don't know how your brain does it, because even, I think it was last week, to be fair, I think it was one of the days that I just wasn't feeling so hot, and you asked me a question about one of our meetings, and I'm like, what are you even talking about? And you're like, it's in my notes, like, and I had to check my notes. I was like, yeah, that checks out because it's in my notes too. Like, it just didn't register in the brain, and there's been so many moments. I think I've said this before, where one time my mom came into my room talking about something, and once again I was like, what are you even talking about? She's like, we talked about this yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I even alive? Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I'm good with, and maybe this is true of you too, I'm good with like the big stuff. Like my wife
Of course.
will be, you know, I forgot, there was an example of like, my buddy was coming in, his mom wasn't doing well, and he said, hey, I'm coming into Rhode Island for the week. Mm-hmm. I was like, he goes, I'm leaving this weekend. Great. So like that, I got what I needed, right? I told Trish, she goes, oh, how long is he staying? I'm like, I don't know. What's he driving? How's his wife going to drive the other? I go, I don't know what he's driving. I didn't ask. Well, when is he leave already, or is he leaving tonight? I don't know.
I feel like, respectfully, that's a man thing.
So we had the discussion. I was like, we're just very, like, and also I didn't, the details just aren't important to me. But that goes back to kind of like how I need, when we talk about our rundown, I don't need things super specific. I just need kind of this big picture, and then I can, got it. Okay. And the same thing with that. I was like, wow, this is, and we had that, my buddy and I had that discussion. He's like, man, he goes, my wife would have done the same thing. He's like, that is definitely a man-woman thing. I mean, I couldn't be less interested in the answers to those questions.
That's so true. I get like that though sometimes when Scuba's parents ask me questions. I'm like, I don't know, and they're like, what do you mean you don't know? But then if Scuba tells me something, usually, and two, especially if it's juicy gossip and you ask like those follow-up questions, men never know the in-between.
No. The Taylor and Travis Kelce, I would have never, I never cared when they were out together. I mean, it was great. Thank you for sharing, but I never thought for once, oh, I wonder if that first time they met was at the game, or when that was their first date. I was just like, they're an item. Okay. My
news should be everyone's news.
Oh, sorry, new equipment. Still learning.
new setup. Well, I had
the big picture.
I know I had a whole thing about like getting out of a rut after the long weekend on the holidays, and you're like, I don't rut. I just vacay. I don't rut.
No, I definitely have. Yeah, I don't know. I do treat those vacations as re-energizing opportunities, and I just usually come back like reinvigorated. I don't know. I really enjoy working, so that's part of it. And I know you do too.
I do to a certain extent.
I'm just like, what else? I mean, so if you could just do anything like all day, what would you do?
Lay in bed and rot. It's called rotting.
You'd get tired of that.
No,
you would.
I don't think. I think it would take a good amount of time for me to get tired of that.
After a 7-day cruise, you were ready to be done.
Like, of the cruise?
Yeah.
Yes and no. Usually, I lasted a lot longer than I thought I would of like being homesick. I'd say about like the second to last day, or even the last day, I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to kind of get tired, but like I'm not foaming at the mouth to go home.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mostly I'm speculating because of the weather. I think like just getting out, like cruise maybe isn't the right example, because it's like, okay, I don't want to eat this food anymore. I don't want this like routine anymore. But like I wouldn't just wake up and go play golf every day for 18 holes and then go, okay, well now I'm gonna go take a nap, and then I'm gonna go, like, now it's 5 o'clock, so I'm gonna have a drink, and then like rinse repeat. I'd be like, no, I gotta do something, man. I would be investing in businesses, because that's just the way my brain works.
I know. It's something new every day. Like, oh, I have to do this for this thing I bought. I'm like, what do you mean? I can't even keep track of like when I'm supposed to take my dog out and like stay on his schedule.
It's interesting you say that, because like I didn't want that to be another thing I had to think about, but then my wife got dogs. And now I'm back. I add that to my list.
Did you see Shout out to our next door neighbors, EnviroClean. Their little new member,
I haven't met
George.
him, but I did I did share the I shared the links the Instagram post.
Yes, he looks like a teddy bear, and he's at that puppy stage where you can tell he can just fall asleep in your arms.
Yeah, that's cool, George. I mean, they're to me right now a lot like babies. Just like, this is very cute, and now I will hand them back to you.
You're so right.
Even that's how I am with 14-year-olds and 11-year-olds too. Except they're not as cute.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely yes.
No, they're great.
Everyone's great until they're not.
My daughter got moved up. I don't know how to describe it, but like leveled up a bit in her swim team.
Promoted.
And she's like, now she's a little nervous. She's like, because I think they might think I'm good enough that I have to be in the competition. I'm like, that's great, but
yeah,
she doesn't like to lose.
I wonder where she got that from.
That's where you build character.
No, losing. Yeah, 100%. We've talked about this before. Yeah. Just seeing like
no participation trophies in my family.
The way I see it, there is always going to be someone better than you, no matter. Yeah. That is just life. But everyone also has their own strengths and what makes them good.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I think losing does build character. Yeah. I think you should lose. I was talking to one of my dancers about it this week. She was having a harder time, and I'm like, listen, you're supposed to have these moments. You're supposed to feel like rock bottom every now and then, because like that is your reset. Mm-hmm. That finally flushes out your mind of like all the buildup and everything.
Yep.
Whatever's been happening in your life, and that kind of finally allows you to be like, okay, I can actually see things a lot clearer than I did before, because there was just so much happening.
I'm proud of you for teaching them.
This sounds so corny, but I think when you surround yourself with the right people, no matter how old they are, they teach you, even when like you're teaching them, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
So you're saying you're learning from your...
100%. I think...
Or from
me. We'll leave that as a guess. No, I think you are a person that has taught me my life will change. Working for the right person has taught me be a little bit more positive, even when I don't want to be, about certain things. And just like with my dancers, they do teach me a good amount of things every now and then.
Sure.
Even if they don't realize it, I think they do. You know?
Yeah, well, I think even your response to what they're doing, you learn something in that, right? Like, so. And
they won't agree about probably 9 times out of 10, because usually I'm like, that looked terrible, that looked awful. Yeah. But there are, moments in between the chaos that I do love them.
I'm sure you do. That's all the good stuff that you don't know, but when you're working, I'm grinding, like all that work. That's the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that nobody sees, like all the feedback you're giving them, that when that competition comes, that's their moment to shine. And, and that's such a small fraction of the overall process of the dancing, right? Most of it is the practice every night where they're getting, let's say, beat up by you, and this is how you improve, right? All the things. Yeah. And then it all led to this moment, and you reap those rewards, and everybody, sitting down in the audience is like, oh, they make that look so easy. But meanwhile, they don't know you're putting the hammer down on them,
right?
Every day. And
I think it's the same, for at work. Like, and it doesn't have to be. I feel like it's sprinkled everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's great. I'm glad you're teaching those girls to keep getting better. And so my daughter hopefully is learning that as well.
She's gonna do great. Yeah, everything happens for a reason. Your teacher, your coach, I promise, very much like your parents, know better than you at the time. Even if you don't want to admit it, they do. And another thing I tell my dancers, like, I wish they could see themselves the way I see them, because it's not that self-criticism that we all experience. And she just needs to remind herself that they see her a completely different way.
Yeah. One of the great things about coaches and about teachers or instructors is that the kids will take that feedback much more willingly than they will from their parents.
Oh, 100%.
So if you're able to like be the good coach or the good teacher, you can get through to them. Because I'm like, why are my kids not the best kids at home? And then you're winning awards in school, and
Right.
that's fine. Like that's kind of how it is. They need to do the rebellious stuff at home, and it is what it is. But as long as you know, like that, those other people in their lives are really making a difference.
Yeah.
You know, so
I even had moments like that, and my mom was my dance teacher growing
Oh,
up
yeah, that's
until I
right.
was like 18. She was my teacher.
Yeah.
But she made it so it didn't seem like
and that's a challenge. Yeah, good for her.
anyone could pick out like, oh, that's the dance teacher's daughter, obviously.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Because that's not the tone that she wanted. There was even a time, probably up until I was like 13, 12 maybe, that I would call her Miss Angela. I wouldn't even call her mom. I'd be like, Miss Angela.
We have that in our office. I'm sure you've noticed.
Yes. Well, it took me a while to,
Yeah.
like, they would talk about each other or tell stories, and I'm like, wait a second. Wait
Yeah.
just a second.
Yeah.
I was kind of embarrassed how long it actually took me to realize, but
I got my first taste of that, not from them, but like 15, you're going way back. Like when I was probably 15 years ago, 20 years ago, first interaction with him at his office, Eric in EnviroClean next door. And the way he would just say, yeah, no, I got to run it by Jack. I got to do this, Jack. And I'm like, what's he talking about? And he was always talking about his dad. And I was like, oh, man, that's weird. But I do understand in a work environment, hey, dad. But I don't know. I do see businesses that do talk to people like that say dad and mom.
right. Sometimes I say mom, like if I'm talking, the only example I can keep using is dance.
Yeah.
Like I flip back and forth between like mom, my mom, or Miss Angela. Like
Yeah.
even with our boss, she's like family. We call her TT, which is in
Spanish.
Is it Spanish too?
Tia, I think it is.
Well, I know it's Greek,
Oh,
but I didn't know if it was Spanish too. Sorry,
I
probably
don't think
looks.
it's TT. I think it might be Tia. I'll have to confirm that. I think Google Translate.
We'll have to check that. But she's Greek. She's very Greek. She's family, and I don't talk. I say mom. I'm like, oh, have you talked to mom? And she'll say the same thing. She's like, talk to mom about it.
Yeah.
We're not like Miss Angela. But
What's funny is my sister will sometimes say to me, I was talking to my mom. I'm like, who's mom?
your mom.
And she'll correct it. She's like, I don't know why I do that.
That's funny.
And I think she's so used to having the conversation with somebody else, you know. So,
That's about it. Closing out.
yes.
Don't be so hard on yourself. I feel like that.
Well, people in general.
If it
Yeah.
relates to you, don't be so hard
Yeah.
on yourself.
Yeah, just keep moving forward, man.
Sometimes you need to put on some Adele in your car to get a good cry out, to reset your mind for the week, or
No-
watch a sad movie.
Nothing's ever, and you should know this, like nothing's ever that big a deal. Like if you wake up in the morning and your mom's alive and you're like, you just be like, I'm telling you right now, like everything else will be fine. You can make more money. You can get a new job. You can fix your car. Everything will be good.
See, I know this, but there are times where like the
course.
body just is like, babe, you need to cry. Like
You're-
you
no,
haven't cried in
100%.
months.
No, and I'm not saying not to do that. I'm not dissuading that at all. I think you should feel all the emotion.
But I agree.
But like, yeah, if you can then
Tell
try to
yourself-
remind yourself, right?
Yes.
Like, all right, I'm good. Like everything's fine.
Sorry, I was just watching this woman park.
Like that's yeah, she works next door.
But yeah, we hope everyone has a good week or weekend whenever this comes out, and takes a little bit inspiration
And
from.
we'll see each other again before the holidays. We have probably two more. Try to get 2 more episodes out before the
I
holidays.
know, that's crazy. Only 2 more episodes until Christmas.
Yeah, maybe
Right?
in 2023. I will not be here. That is true. I will not be here the final week of the year.
Oh, funny how that comes out.
So
Yep.
what you should do is you should film an episode with somebody else.
Or myself.
Yeah.
It would just be me. Like,
I think you
I
definitely
don't
should do
even
that.
know how that would turn out. People would either lose brain cells or be like, what is
Bill's
this?
canceled.
Bill's
Sweet.
canceled. Bill's canceled. Or
Now
we'd get famous.
You could actually draw a line through it and I think you should do that. I think you should, like, it's not with Bill, it's with Jaden.
And here's proof that
Yeah.
I know. Maybe I'll have someone on the phone.
Like, we have an intro. We do need, like, an intro to the show where it's, like, the with Bill, but then you'll have, like...
Scratch it out.
Yeah, it would all be, like, you could have it scratched out, like, with Jaden. It could be all pink and just,
I'll
like,
get working on
take
that
out.
immediately.
You should pink out the room. Everything will be changed.
Well, have you seen... do you know who Trisha Paytas is?
No.
I wouldn't think you would. It's fine. But she used to have a podcast with someone, and half of it, like, was hot pink, and then the
really?
rest was, like, blue or black or something. And that's... I feel like once we get a set upgrade,
Yes.
it's gonna be game over.
We should probably think about just doing it.
What's your dream set? Like, what does it entail?
You and me at a beach bar in St. Thomas.
Gosh, that would be a cool set.
Or any tiki bar, you know. Just the vibes. I love those vibes.
Maybe we can make that... Who says we can't make that the set?
We definitely could.
Sand.
Seriously.
Even though they can't see it. For me, it's in, like, a beanbag chair. I'm just sitting,
Yeah, I do love...
cozied up.
That's probably too relaxing for me. Not the beanbag would be the tiki bar. That's kind of like I'm on vacation mode. So I would think kind of like I like the coffee bar setting. You know,
Yeah.
with like a little masonry wall behind me and some, I don't know, some thing hanging on the wall and
Yeah.
a coffee thing.
We need to figure it out. We need to figure it out.
But hey, we're gonna build more in 2024. So.
And on that note, goodbye, everyone.